Okay.
through here.
Yeah.
And there's very few that we pay that don't come to
Right.
the meeting first. So that's why there's not very many of those
Right.
reports anymore.
We just wanted to make sure that it was a range that we were getting and not just a single day's checks that were going out, because, you know, it's nice to be able to have the whole lay of the land instead of just
Okay.
this day, this day, this day. Just a little bit easier, especially, I don't know if you've noticed, there's a lot of paperwork that goes along with this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of paperwork, so.
Especially when you keep them all for,
Yeah, it's a lot of paperwork. So what ended up happening with the Frankenmuth Credit Union thing then, because it had, you noted that too, that it had nothing owed. So, I mean,
what was
what's
the
the,
$57 one?
I know, but there was nothing due this month on the bill.
because there's a credit on it.
We haven't figured out exactly how to use that credit and then put it in the books, because that's
Okay.
that credit we got in points.
Okay,
And they
This one.
split
So
it
we're
up for
working
some
with Darcy,
reason.
trying to figure out how to eat that up and then put it in the books that way.
right, okay, and I wondered if that
Because
was
technically it was
but-
income,
Right,
but I
so we'd
don't
have
think
to put it
she's,
in as a revenue.
I don't, yeah, but I'm not sure she's picked the department that we need to put it in.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't talked to her recently, but, that was one of the things with that credit, is that $1,000 credit.
Mm.
We didn't know exactly how to use it. And, well, we know how to use it up, but we don't know how to put it in
Okay,
the BSNA. So,
Okay, so I'm just gonna bring this up again. I am getting a ton of spam in my email. Remember how we've been getting those for a while? Like, oh, hey, come and talk to me. Remember, for a while. I don't understand, I mean, is that SAMHSA's area, or is that actually Hayden? I mean, those should be
No, our
able to be
emails are
stopped.
SAMHSA.
And so,
So there
But-
should be something in there that stops those, because, I mean, they're just phishing. That's all it is. But
I
how are
don't
they
get too
getting
many
through?
more of them. I get that I've won something.
Yeah, but anything that they're getting, I mean, that's a compromised system. That's the problem. There's
Well,
gotta
my
be some
problem
kind of
with
protection.
SAMHSA is you can email me something,
Mhm.
and if there's 4 or 5 people on the list, and I answer you and email all of yous back, sometimes a couple of them don't go through.
Yeah,
I get them back as that there was an error. I'm going, I checked, I go, well, what the hell? They just emailed me. How can it not go back to them?
right.
yeah, I've been having some issues with how things are coming through as well. And so I don't think it's necessarily just the way they're sorted, although I think that's part of the problem, is how they're sorted. If you keep them sorted so they're all individual emails, maybe they won't group them the same way and we'll be able to see more of them, but there is definitely some concerns on how the email's being handled through SAMHSA, because we should not have that many spam. I just got another one today. It's like an empty message, but I have no idea who you are, you know,
Well, I'm
and
not
there's
getting
nothing
that
in
much
there.
spam. I am having trouble emailing back to people, but I'm not having too much spam.
I'm just wondering.
Melissa was gonna talk to him, today about emailing out, because she said she's had trouble emailing back to people, and then she gets it in. But apparently the people get it, because they answer me.
Yeah,
Oh,
but it doesn't look like it, or it doesn't look like the whole message when, or you don't get the whole message. I've had
No,
that
I get
too.
it back in my emails that, to Fletcher Rick at whatever the hell, didn't go through, there was an error. And then a few minutes later, he'll answer me, I'm going, well, he must have got it.
Yeah,
So,
I kind of wonder if we need to talk to them a little bit, because there's just too much happening in
we
that.
are-
And that
we
is,
are.
given the fact that we're a municipality,
mhm.
you know,
We should
we're
make it-
more of a target. So we need to make sure that we have that protection there, because remember when we did that, not the workers' comp, but the other policy that went through, I believe it went through David Chapman as well, where we talked about that, the whole cyber crimes thing, remember, and Justin had kind of weighed in on that a little bit. I mean, that's exactly how that happens. And we had some questions about what kind of coverage we had from them, but we're also getting that influx of emails. So it would seem like we need to address that somehow, whether that's SAMHSA or if we need
Well, I think
some
yours
other
is
layer.
a different thing, so you should take Samson's number and probably give him a call and leave him a message or something. You'll have to leave him a message, they'll call you back, but,
Okay,
like I say, I'm not getting a lot of spam, So
Well, I just had somebody asking me to help them repatriate their funds for some
Wow.
rich person that died, and for a second I was like, whoa, it is my moment, right? It is my moment. I could save somebody so much trouble, you know.
What's your email address again? What's that email address again?
But I mean, I know that they can access it through the website, you know, and so that kind of opens it up a little bit. But there should, I mean, like there's a division where it says, you know, like your main box and then other emails, right? And they're making it to the main box. They're not even going into the other emails, so they're not getting filtered at all. You know,
Might
from
be
the
your
main
spam
box.
settings. If,
I don't
or
know. She can call Samsung though, and they'll help her.
in lieu of any other better term to describe it than spam settings, because I know I get a lot more garbage in my spam with my Gmail than I do anywhere else.
Yeah,
When I get legitimate emails, because
I don't get them at work. They've got a really strong IT department. I don't get them at work, except for when they try to send you one to trick you, so that they can then come back and say, "Oh, you clicked it. Now you have to do more training." That doesn't happen to me.
found out from, sounds like personal experience there.
No, it's actually one of my coworkers. She's like, "Oh, they get me every time," and I'm like, "Well, it shouldn't happen that way." Okay, so this check for Greg, I assume was the prorated to the
Yep.
the date. Okay, and then you had to prorate yours as well. It's a little extra figuring.
I had Molly prorate it just so there was no
Yeah, good idea.
issues.
Yeah, good idea. Is Joan all moved now?
Pardon me?
Is Joan all moved and settled and she's back up and running?
Well, she's not all moved. When she was here last week, she tells me she's moving, what they call him, Steve? Steve or somebody, Scott or somebody. I'm going, well, okay, I don't know who Steve or Scott is. Apparently they're moving in together.
Somebody? Oh, okay.
I'm on as of 6 p.m., man.
Good.
The township's in my hands now. Jim went home. We're in trouble.
He did seem like he was in quite the hurry to leave.
I better find the monthly report in case he doesn't come back at 7.
Pretty standard fare, I'm just about there. It's a pretty big stack, so that should go in that direction. Just out of curiosity, because I know there's been quite a bit of variation, what are Shirley's standard hours during weeks? I know she works Tuesdays.
Well, last week I think she worked Wednesday because she had something going on Tuesday or something, wasn't it?
She worked a half day Tuesday and a half day Wednesday.
It's usually only one day a week, but
Yeah.
she had something going on and she worked Wednesday for a while, I guess, I don't know.
And is that from 8 to 5 or?
She works 9 to 4.
9 to 4. Once she's counting money on Tuesday, she'll get here at 10
Okay.
for the church. So this is great, and I'm assuming this is Jim. But he needs to sign it somehow, because just saying
Oh,
that,
okay.
yeah, I'm just saying for your records.
Yeah, we probably should have sent that one out, right? Because that was.
That's all right. I'm just saying, if he's gonna approve it,
Yeah.
he needs to initial it.
I thought a lot of times he does.
Well, that's the first one I've seen him not, but that looks like his writing.
Yeah, it is.
Is Heather Johnson the new hire for the fire department?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yes.
Roll it.
911. I guess I thought Melissa was coming back, although she looked at these this afternoon.
Yeah, I thought she was. I didn't ask her, no, to take her dad to emergency, so she's not gonna make it to the meeting.
So these are in this order, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I really like that they're alphabetized. I can't get over it, how much I enjoy that they're alphabetized.
There's our gas bill.
Does make it much easier.
Okay, so this is for the cylinders at the hall.
Yeah.
How many hall cylinders do we currently have?
Well, I don't know, but I don't think
There's
we picked any.
So it's still 3, we haven't returned any of them?
No,
Why?
because we're gonna get rid of them all, but I need a new system in place before we, if a person pays $1,000 and they gotta pump air into the beer tank.
Yeah, but while I understand that, we could go down to just one cylinder until we make that switch, and our bill would go down substantially, right?
Well, they probably go through a cylinder at a couple weddings. I'd have to find out, how often are we replacing them?
Well, I
Are
think
these any replacements, or are these just the?
it's just the normal charge, and I mean, I believe that a fully functioning bar usually goes through a medium tank in 2 to 4 weeks. So I can't imagine one night, one night of a wedding is gonna go through that much. But to continue to pay, I mean, it's $135 a month now. To continue to pay that until the decision is made, it would seem as though we could return 2 of the cylinders.
Well, I'm sure we can return one, for sure. Rent cylinder, the fires.
Because I think if I remember correctly, there's like a chubby one, and then there's like a taller one, and they're kind of all mismatched. So I don't know capacity-wise what the difference would be, because I don't think you can just, size them up easily when they're
I
different
thought
sizes
Charlie
like
was
that.
gonna check into that to return one of them.
Well, he had wanted them returned.
We wanted
Last
them all
month.
returned.
Well,
I
I
can't
think
return
there's
them all
some-
until we get a new system.
Well, obviously, but to continue to hold on to even the other ones, is still costing us more money every month until that decision's
Well, and
actually
I
made.
wonder if they're gonna come and fill them, if that would be the time for them to pick that one up instead of having them come and make an extra trip. because
Like,
it's gonna-
what is the best option for us to keep, because clearly 3 aren't necessary, and if I understood correctly, what happened was somebody rented the hall and it was empty, and so it was kind of like an emergency, bring another tank, but they just brought an additional one and then left all of them there. And that's kind of how this thing has
Oh.
continued to build over time, because nobody actually said, hey, go pick up that one, we don't need it anymore. So one of them, I don't know, I mean, are they checking all the time to make sure all of them are filled? Or is this just the
No,
cylinder?
I think we called to have them when one gets empty.
Okay.
So
So we very
I'll
well
check
could
with
have 2
Charlie and see if
empties
he talked to
that
him
we're paying
about
for.
it.
Okay.
I'll
I
check
think
with
he was
Charlie.
looking at some other options at one point, but,
Well, I think the one meeting, he said he was gonna call them to get rid of one of these things, so I don't know what, well, he did
Well-
talk about getting rid of all of them. I told him we can't get rid of all of them until we find out how we're gonna pump air into the beer tank.
but we can certainly get rid of some of them. So, I mean, saving half the money is better than continuing to pay it.
I'll
That
talk
would be
to
my-
Gary too. If Charlie hasn't done anything, I'll have Gary check into it.
Well, I think he was kind of looking at another option, and his initial option was actually to get one, I think it was like $50, and you get your $50 back, just to do an old-fashioned tap. But if we were gonna continue to do that, there are some other options available as well, even purchasing, so you're not paying the monthly lease and then just having it filled. I mean, if we're gonna continue to use it, that would make sense, right? Okay. Okay.
This would be the sheriff. So there should be 2 there.
Yeah. Steve got that call the other day, didn't he? With the people trapped in the vehicle down by River. I think Steve was on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't a fatality though, was it? That you know of? I didn't hear that it was, but it didn't sound good, so I was a little worried. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Oh,
I
on
was just
Huron by
curious.
River?
Yeah.
I was,
I mean, you don't have to
I
say-
was out of town.
Yeah, okay. I was just curious if you knew off the top of your head, because it didn't sound very good. I was a little concerned.
We,
That maybe.
They have closed the road.
Yeah, both
They did.
lanes.
Yeah,
So,
both
and,
northbound is what it had said online.
and I had heard that there were people trapped in a vehicle. So that's why I was concerned.
and I had closed down 13 about 2 weeks before that.
Yeah.
You're not making any friends,
see
are
it all
ya?
the time.
Yeah, it's a common thing, and MDOT doesn't think there's enough traffic to do anything.
And MDOT came and yelled at us before while we've had them closed down
Yes.
Tell them to get a left turn lane.
from the river to Pinconning.
This is one of the permits.
Yeah,
What is that?
Clemis is for the swing sets.
Oh, awesome, okay.
This is one of
The returns.
returns.
Okay. Well, when you buy that many of them, okay.
How much is that one? So why,
108.
is the rest of them together here?
Well, no, one of them is 108 and one is 130.
Oh,
It's a
they're both
mechanical
here.
one.
Okay.
108, 130. Okay, yeah, I thought that was a copy at first too.
This is for Charlie went to a conference.
Yes.
Spectrum. And electric bills.
Favorite one, Tosca. That's a welcome bill for the hall comparatively, isn't it? That's the only downside of alphabetical. Consumers hits a lot sooner.
Not easy to figure out either.
No.
This is where we added the Trailblazer, which is the DNR truck, back the first part of May, but it looks good.
This is an annual bill.
Yeah,
And what
there's
is,
gotta be two of them there because,
There should be.
this is the accident policy for the fire department.
yeah, okay, I was gonna say, cause
What
this
is,
is,
that's not something new, right? I mean, it says attention down service, so.
right,
But that's not like a Aflac kind of accident policy, right? It's just, it's coming and going, right?
so we didn't pay this, even though that's this, because we were taking this off, weren't we?
Yeah, I think we were gonna take those off till we get paid for them.
Right,
This wasn't
because
something
I
that-
talked to him about this, and we don't wanna make these until we know how we're gonna get paid, so this $812 comes off this figure,
Of the other 810 and this one's there 180.
okay?
So the
But,
payment.
I have a question on the lawn, where he charges us $9.50 for lawn. If you
Yeah.
look at if you look at his bid and look at our contract, that's supposed to also include, like the leaf cleanup, but he always bills us separately for leaf cleanup, at like $100 don't know if that's, I mean, I
Well,
just,
I don't think there's a leaf cleanup on here, is there? You mean the previous bill? This leaf here, he had them piled in the back, and so the wind don't pick them up and pull them. He put them in a bigger pile and put dirt on top of them.
okay, but like, what's that 1,100? Is that like how many hours or how many?
I don't know, it doesn't say how many
Say.
hours, but he moved the pile of leaves and covered it with dirt. But I did talk to him about these foundations that we don't know how we're getting paid, so you need to subtract these two from this bill. We're not paying the whole bill, so.
Right.
It was an 812 and a 180.
812, 810.
812 and
812
180.
and 180. But what happened is, and I talked to him about it, is the monument company called and told him what size he needed.
Mhm.
I said, well, are they paying us? He goes, no, I don't think so. Well, then we're not making them until we know how we're getting paid for them.
Is that for that one that was discussed?
No,
No, that's
these are
not
new
that one?
ones. These are
Okay.
new ones.
Alright.
And I don't care if the foundation company collects the money and pays us.
Right.
We can't just build one and they throw the monument on it, and then I gotta chase the people for a foundation payment.
Okay.
Okay, in the process of doing that right now.
We are?
At 810, how these political funds.
Well, it doesn't matter, she ain't gonna get a foundation until she pays it. So this is for the election. Software update.
That was the one that Greg talked about, that was coming.
Yes. For 5 years they covered it, and now it's our turn.
Oh, okay.
This is the credit card.
Alright. Page switch. It's not saying whose is whose, right?
Hmm?
Whose card is whose?
I don't know if that says it or
I
not.
don't see it anywhere, but I think usually it had to be written on because it doesn't actually say who the card holder whose name is on
Well, if
the
you
card.
get the receipt, you should be able to match it with the card. And just write the name on there.
Usually we put them in order with generals first and then Sam's
Okay.
and then the fire department.
Yeah, this one is Eventbrite for Rosenbach.
That'd be the general.
Okay. You went to the cemetery management one.
We are.
Oh, you're, it's
This-
coming up.
Yep, yep. Next week, I think.
Okay. So,
Well, here.
okay.
That we're talking about?
Mount Pleasant.
Mount
Oh,
Pleasant.
Mount Pleasant.
So this must be yours because yours is the one that got the cash back on it, right? So it's sitting there.
The general one does and Sam's does.
Oh, they both do.
I got cash back
Yeah,
on
I
mine too?
don't know why they split that 1,000 up, they didn't keep it on one bill.
No?
I'm saying,